Present farm. Order arms. We, members of the Pocatello Veterans Honor Guard and the United States Army, in behalf of the United States of America, are here assembled to give a lasting final tribute of respect to departed Army veterans. When the call of our country was heard, Jack Saari answered. Self was forgotten for cause of greater good. As a brave man, he marched away to find faith in his God, his country, and his flag. The red in our country's flag had been made redder still due to his heroism. The white was stained pure by the noise which impelled him. And in the starry field of our nation's glorious banner, the blue had been glorified by the service he has rendered to the American ideals. Parade lift.
Let's bow our heads. Oh God, Father of us all, we here extend these final earthly tributes to our beloved brother. Accept our prayers on behalf of the soul of thy servant departed. Welcome him to thy house to rest in peace. Look with mercy upon thy loved ones, bereaved by his passing. Comfort and console them through thine own tenderness. These things we ask humbly in thy name. Amen.
Honor guard, stand up. If you are a veteran, please come to attention and a hand salute. All others, please place your hand over your heart. Color guard, officers, present arms. present arms. Veterans, come to a hand salute. Order, arms. Parade, rest. Honor guard, then up. The volleys have been fired, caps has been sounded, and our flag has been folded and presented. This concludes the military rites. To the Saari family, from all of us veterans, thank you for us to have this honor. Present arms.
Flag detail, port arms. Right face. Column left, march.
Order, arms. Rifle squad, officers, dismissed.
Well, family, friends, thank you for showing up to honor my father today. Kind of new to all this, so forgive my my failings and however I present things, but I wanted to give him special military honors. He's a World War II and Korean War veteran. I didn't know the World War II part until I checked out the dates, so that's pretty amazing. But anyway, thank you for your time with that. We'll move forward with the program at this time. We have a special musical number by Kara Morford. She's my niece. I'm pretty proud of her, so I'll let her take front and center and do that for us. That was pretty neat.
When you are hopeless, when you are alone, I will be your home. Whenever you're weary, whatever you've done, I will be your home. I will be your home. I will be your home. In this fearful falling place, I will be your home. When time reaches fullness and I move my hand, I will bring you home. Home to your own place in a beautiful land. I
Thank you, Kara. All right, at this time, Jack had a very good friend, separated by many years in age, and talked of him often and fondly. So I asked him to give us a few words about Jack and some of the special things. So at this time, Dave, would you be happy to step in and do that for us?
I'm Dave Lord. I was Jack's neighbor for 23 years in Grand Junction, Colorado, and he and I, over the years, became very great friends. He was a different guy for sure. I tell people he was a shirt off his back kind of guy. The hardest worker I think I've ever seen, and he was just he was always had a kind word, always had a smile. But he and I, we enjoyed sitting down and talking and sharing stories. We agreed that it was probably best there was 39 years between us, because if we had grown up together, it would have been trouble. So I really enjoyed just his company. He helped me with things at my house. I helped him with things at his house. And, you know, I like to share a couple of stories about Jack, just to speak to his character and his hard work ethic. One time I had a mainline water break in my backyard, big 2-inch pipe, water gushing everywhere, and Jack insisted on coming down, bringing his shovel and helping me dig up the break. And I said, no, I can get it. He said, no, I need to do this, Dave. I need to come down. I want to help you with this. So he brought his shovel down, and I had to stand out of his way. I was in the man's way, and this was when he was 92, 93 years old, and I was just in the way. 2 years ago, it was just before he lost his sight. He had a couple of stumps from some shrubs in the back that he wanted the stumps to be taken out so he could plant grass back in those spots. Said, I got an electric chainsaw, Dave, will you come help me get them out? We went back there, we dug a little bit, and I used the chainsaw a little bit. He had a single blade axe, and the man was 93 years old, and he was wailing on these stumps so hard. Every swing was true. Every swing was right on the mark. And I was like, all right, we'll take a break. Let me have a hand at it. I embarrassed myself, and I took a few swings and I gave him the axe back, because I just could not even do it the way he did. And so those are two of my favorite stories to share about Jack, just because he was such a hard worker. He came over and shoveled my driveway and sidewalk this last winter. Mind you, not able to see. And I looked out the window and I saw that my sidewalk and driveway had been shoveled. I knew who did it, but I looked on my video camera and I could see him out there shoveling my driveway in the dark and essentially blind. So I tried to beat him down to his house and shovel his driveway. When I saw it was snowing, he'd already been out and done it. So he was an amazing man. You know, I've told his family, I have a hard time being sad now that he's gone, because I never knew a more godly man, and I'm a preacher's son. But I saw a lot of people growing up in the church that they talked the talk, but they didn't walk the walk. Jesus said, by your actions, they'll know your mind. And I like to add, not by how much you do this about it. And Jack didn't do a lot of this about it. He did express his faith to me. He often said he was going to convert me to Mormon someday. And he gave me a Mormon, the Book of Mormon, and he said, I'll never bother you about this, Dave, but if you ever have any questions about who we are and what we believe, I'm always happy to answer any questions for you. And I really respected that, especially growing up in the church, not in the Mormon church, but in the Nazarene church. I respected that he wasn't pushy about his religion, but he was very faithful to God and to his religion. And I had a deep respect for that. He invited me to church with him and Diane a couple of times, and I went to the Mormon church. And, you know, it was almost exactly what I grew up as a Nazarene preacher's son. The whole service structure, the hymns, everything, and we worship the same God, the same Savior. So it was really, I felt at home when I was there, and I felt very welcomed by the people there. And Jack was always one of the things that always bothers me with some of the churches around, I have several churches in our neighborhood, and none of them invite me to church. But the Mormon church, the missionaries are always very faithful of knocking on doors, and they are one of the few that are still carrying out what they're supposed to be doing, their mission on this earth, to convert people and to tell them about Jesus Christ. And so I really respected that about Jack. I have a couple of things here from some of the neighbors that I wanted to read, and others were going to get me things before I left town to come here yesterday, but they didn't get to me in time. Aaron Wall and his family said Jack Saari was an excellent friend. When we first moved into the area, he befriended me and my family. He was a wealth of support for me as I struggled with the stress of a young family, new job, and new area. My boys benefited from his wisdom and they spent time in his house. One of his bits of counsel that I always treasure is that life is often like a roller coaster. You can't get off, you can't change course, and you're not in control. So you might as well put your hands up and enjoy the ride. Thank you, Jack, for all that you have done, and no doubt still are doing. Aaron Wall and family. His neighbor to the west of him, right next door, is Pam and Theo Class. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Pam and Theo said, "Our man Jack, what an amazing person. Best neighbor ever. His kind words could soothe the soul. He always had a story to tell. He was more than happy to help if he could. Oh, how he is missed. Our prayers go out to his family and friends. Sincerely, Theo and Pam Class." I had just a couple of quotes I wanted to read here, and I was looking to see with the LDS Church what some of the things that they like to say at funerals, comforting words, and I looked up a few things, and I kept seeing these quotes from Russell M. Nelson, and each one of his quotes are quotes that I really thought resonated, and I really liked what he had to say. So I made notes of those, and then I was like, who is this guy? And I looked him up, and of course all of you here that are in the Mormon Church know who Russell M. Nelson is. And so I was surprised and not surprised to see that the words that touched me the most were of the leader of your church. So I'd like to read just a few of those to you here. He says, "The only way to take sorrow out of death is to take love out of life." And I thought that was, that really struck home with me. I haven't lost a lot of family. I haven't lost a lot of friends close to me. And I've lost a lot of pets. And it always breaks my heart, as I'm sure many of you have, and I'm sure we all have loss in our lives with our family too. But when you think about that, it's true that things that you don't love, you swat a mosquito or you kill a roach or something, you don't mourn for that thing. You maybe feel bad that you took that life, but you don't mourn for it because you didn't love that thing. But the things that touch our hearts the most are the things that hurt the most when we lose those. So I really enjoyed that quote. So death, like birth, is part of life. To return to God through the gateway we call death is a joy for those who love him and are prepared to meet him. With Jack, as I had mentioned, I didn't see a lot of people in my life growing up in the church that emulated Christ. But there's a few people that did, and Jack was one of those. And so I have a hard time being sad in his absence now. I'm sad that I won't get to see him again until hopefully I can join him in heaven someday. But I'm really happy for him because I know that the gates of heaven were flung wide open and he was greeted with open arms instantly. And I know that he's having, who knows, I mean, it's hard to even fathom what heaven's going to be like for us. But I know Jack was a faithful man, and I know he's rejoicing in heaven right now. Love life, cherish each moment as a blessing from God. Live it well, even to your loftiest potential. Then the anticipation of death shall not hold you hostage. And I know in the end, speaking to Russ and Teresa, that Jack was at peace, that he wasn't afraid to die. He was ready for his time. He was ready to meet his Heavenly Father. And I know that he's there rejoicing right now. So I guess what I would say is be sad that it'll be a while maybe until we all get to see him again. But don't be sad for Jack. He wouldn't want you to be sad for him. He wants you to rejoice that he's healed again, he's whole again, and he's rejoicing in heaven. He's got his heavenly reward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dallas.
Yeah. Just get some.
I meant to bring it over last night. Some of the diamonds and then the big ones.
So there's an airlock. There's an airlock right here. So it's drying my paint out as fast as I can do it.
Oh man.
And so I was mixing all my colors on the floor. And so I repainted this black. It's all been done about 3 times. I
gotta
repainted
get some
the foreground.
pictures here.
Well, no, just to get the way I wanted it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, hungry. Hungry.
And if anybody just wants lemon water, we can give them that.
Come up with my mom's oxygen tank with the silicone oil. So we packed it.
Well, yeah, see, my dad was born in Cameron.
Yeah,
So,
and that's what I
Holy cow.
Is that gyroscopic? Is it on a swivel?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
Say hi to the camera. Home video. Love it. How have you been?
Good.
He is recording.
Just perfect. You turned the corner, and there was a parking spot right in front of the cowboy, the cowboy bar. I mean,
Right on the end, just
and there's
pull in.
no parking around Jackson Hole at all.
Oh, no,
So you go back into the parking
in a
lot.
while?
Oh, it's terrible.
Anyway, we got out
Don't go.
and went to that Antler Park. Really? You know, it's no dogs allowed. None.
Just getting a little bit of video here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sneak up.
Well, that's how it is.
He was rush hour traffic. They had him in training, but in and around Portland.
Let's see. You shy? Are you shy? Probably sleepy.
I'd take her out in the booth.
And who are you?
Amira.
Who?
Amira.
Oh, okay. Cool. I saw you before.
Something different. Lemonade?
I noticed the wind picked up out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So these wild types here?
No, this is just I'm gonna try to there's a circuit and this as well as like
Well, that also.
30 minutes, 40 minutes.
And it's because there's so low.
Smile, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's my husband.
You can drink it. You can put your face in there.
Don't be sneaking up on us. That's why I stopped. And did you meet my daughter? Yes.
It's an abandoned building.
And then that's my sister-in-law, Dell's
And for whatever reason.
This is Sarah Wesley's wife. And she's got all those cute little kids. Where's the baby? Jan has her. Oh, Jan stole her. I should have known.
And then it just says.